Okay, welcome to lesson 83 of algebraic concept, graph linear functions. Here's our objective, our vocabulary, and as always, this is meant for you to pause the video and read through. I just put it up there. So let's get into our first example. A car company charges $10 per hour. So look, whenever you see per, each, or every, you're dealing with a rate. So this is your y, this is your x, or you're changing y and you're changing x. Okay, so plus a fee. This is a starting point. So write the function. So f of x equals 10. Your rate multiplies to your variable plus 30. Write the function, make a table. So we got practice in that in the last lesson. So you put 0, 1, 2, 3 in, and 10 times 0 plus 30 is 30. 10 times 1 plus 30 will give you 40. 10 times 2 plus 30 is 20, will give you 50. 10 times 3 plus 30 will give you 60. Now, if you don't feel like calculating, or your calculating gets a little hard, look at this. Your rate of change, and look how it changes on y or f of x. You add 10, you add 10, you add 10. So 4 hours would have gotten you $70, and so on and so forth. So that's the good thing about the rate of change. The change in y divided by the change in x. You can directly add these numbers, top and bottom, to your rates and watch the change go. So now let's pick up with a graph. So if we had to graph this, we just take a look at our points. X, y, or f of x. Okay, so at 0, we're at 30. I'm going to call that 30. I don't have any numbers or any lines on this graph, so I'm going to add to improvise. At 1, we're at 40. So that's that point. At 2, we're at 50. And at 3, we're at 60. So 2, 50, 360 is out here. And then you see a straight line going from 30. And that's what the graph would look like if I had a graph and I had some numbers. So now what we did was combine the first 3 lessons of functions, and now we just added graphing to it. So this is where I would urge you to go over to my geometry lessons and go look at how coordinate planes work. I think there are 2 or 3 lessons dealing with the coordinate plane and how to plot points. So please go look at that. The intro to geometry, and then the first 3 videos. You don't need to watch the intro to geometry, but you can. You probably should. But maybe the first couple of videos deal with graphing, plotting points on the coordinate plane. Okay, so that was our one example. So please use that example to help you solve the problems, and I will see you at the end of the video for a recap. Okay, so our first one. Omar rides his bicycle at an average speed of 8 miles per hour per. So 8 is your change of y, and hour is your change in x. And because there's no number in front of hour, we know that it is 1. So your delta y over your delta x is 8 miles per 1 hour. Write a function rule. So f of x will equal 8x. Then make a table. Do I need to graph the function using a function table? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 8x, x, f of x. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. I know my rate is 8, so if I just add 8 here, I get 24. I only had to calculate it. And so now let's graph it. Same thing, but this goes through 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 16. So 8, 16, 24. And then 1, 2, 3. And we have a straight line going through those points. And that's what it would look like. Okay, graph the function by using a function table, y equals negative x. So now we are not constrained by positives and negatives. So x, negative 1x, y, or f of x. So let's use negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 1 times 0 is 0. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. So on a table of values, you would have negative 1 in x and 1 in y, 0, 0, and then 1, negative 1, and your line would look like that. Okay, so again, if you need some help figuring out how to plot a line, please go over to my geometry videos and use those for help. And graph the function by using the function table. Again, we're going to do the same thing. X minus 3, and then y. So when x is negative 1, at 0 and positive 1. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So let's plot the point. At negative 1, we're at negative 4. At 0, we're at negative 3. At 0, we're at negative 3. So negative 3 would be here. At 1, we're at negative 2. So our line is going straight through like that. And so that was our final problem on this lesson. So again, these lessons are meant to be watched in the series. So please start. The start one is 2079. Is slightly differentiated from sequences and patterns, sequence, series, and patterns. A lot of teachers don't have the time to deal with those, so I just dealt with them because some teachers may. It depends on where your school or district starts algebra. Some kids are starting algebra as early as the 7th grade, and some don't get it till 9th. So depending on where you start is what you will be exposed to as far as all of these lessons are concerned. But I'm doing a lot more than what a lot of schools go over because I want you to get a full background to seeing how math progresses. And there's some lessons that I can't do because I just don't have the pictures. And if I took pictures of somebody else's work, I don't want to break copyright. So I had to skip about 9 lessons from the 3 textbooks that I use. So again, use these videos as a guide to practice with. That's all they are meant for. And you really need an algebra book or some type of book to watch this video and then go practice on those problems and see if you got them right, if you got them wrong, if you made some computational errors. You might need to watch the videos again or whatever. And that is the proper way to use this channel. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. And if you like what you saw, please subscribe and hit the notification bell.